Hey, hey, welcome in. Let the good vibes all begin. Something good is about to happen. Sure. I've been waiting on you. Got a seat with your name. Started with a coffee chat. Now we about to change the game. You got a story worth telling, and I got a room full of ears. So drop whatever you've been holding. Get ready because your time is here. Because when real people talk to real people, something shifts. When real stories meet real listeners, something lifts. Every Saturday we show up and we bring our best. Show up to Carrie Connects and leave it fast. Show up, show up. Something is happening here. Carrie Connects, Carrie Connects. This is your moment, come near. Where every story intersects and every heart connects. From a coffee chat to the main stage, just bring who you are. Carrie Connects, Carrie Connects. Connection is the start. Carrie Connects. Entrepreneurs, voices, friends, where inspiration never ends. You did not come this far just to sit in the back. Everything you walk through, we're getting you ready for that. So step into the light. Let somebody see your face, because the right conversation can change everything in this place. When real people talk to real people, something shifts. And real stories meet real listeners, something lifts. Every Saturday we show up and we bring our best. Show up to Carrie Connects and leave it bright. Show up, show up. Something is happening here. Carrie Connects, Carrie Connects. This is your moment, come near. Where every story intersects and every heart connects. Over coffee chat to the main stage, just bring who you are. Carrie Connects, Carrie Connects. Connection is the start. We started over coffee just to see if it was real. Yeah, you opened up and showed me everything you feel. Now the world is watching and they save the very best chance. Carrie Connects is where somebody finally cares. Show up, something is happening here. Carrie Connects, Carrie Connects. Listen, you know it, come near. Every story intersects and every heart connects. From the coffee chat to the main stage, just be who you are. Carrie Connects. Real conversations, real connections. This is Carrie Connects. Show up.
All right, all right. Thank you all so much for showing up. I am Coach Carrie, and I am so excited to be here with my honored guest, Leah Garcia. She is a financial strategist and life insurance professional, and I just want to thank you all for being here. So before we start saying hello to all of the amazing people in the audience, we're going to get to know our guest a little bit. So I'm so excited for you to just come as you are. Tell us who you are, what you do, and of course, I have to hear about this third degree black belt too, because that tells us everything about how you show up. So everyone, welcome Leah Garcia. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Coach Carrie. I am so honored to be here on this Separation Saturday. The champions show up on Saturdays. This is a time when the champions are separated from the average and ordinary, and you are nothing ordinary about you, my love. I am so glad to be here. I am so grateful for our connection. And this conversation, I think, really does capsulate taking those coffee chats to the next level. right? People think those no pitch coffee chats are benign, that they're nothing, but you and I know the real deal. So I'm excited. Let's dive into this.
All right. So tell us about this black belt and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, the black belt actually was, I started training karate when I was 35. I'm 60 years old now. I'm soon to be 61. I started training never for a black belt. I started training because I had been in an accident, a car accident, and I had a lot of back
Mm.
pain. I'd done everything. I was 220 pounds. I had young children. I couldn't sit or walk for any length of time without being in excruciating pain. And one of my girlfriends was training karate, and she said, "You know what? Try this." I tried everything. I didn't want to have back surgery. And so I really started it as a quest to improve my health. And through the byproduct was achieving a black belt. Again, when I started, I was overweight, out of shape. I had no self esteem. I did not want to train because I looked and there were mirrors all around. And I thought, I cannot do this. But then the white belts all start on this side over here, right? And there was no mirrors there. I said, okay, I can do this. And there were probably a dozen brown belts and higher advanced students. That was never in my wheelhouse. I watched them with respect and adoration, and I thought, maybe someday, I don't know, maybe at some point, in some point in time. It took me almost 3 years. But again, I never saw it as achieving a black belt. I just saw it as refining myself, strengthening myself, mind, body, and spirit. And through osmosis, the byproduct was achieving the black belt. And it was really, thank you for asking about it, because it's really one of the biggest achievements that I've been able to do. And I am very, very proud of that. So I thank you so much.
I am so happy that you said that. And this is why those coffee chats are so important. Because when we look at your profile on LinkedIn, I'm like, I got to meet this woman. She is put together, but you never know someone's background story. So I appreciate you being transparent because you look phenomenal. And I'm quite sure that you just blessed someone today who can just start making those little steps, even if you don't have those big dreams of being a black belt or being a professor in martial arts. You can start somewhere and you don't even have to look in the mirror to get it done. That is a nugget. I
Oh, I
absolutely
love that.
love that.
Did I say that? There you go. That's a gold bar right there.
Right.
I love it, Coach Terry.
Okay. A gold bar. I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and say hi to a few people. I'm going to try this and put these comments on the stage. So let me make them wide and big for the visually impaired, meaning myself. Okay. And so we're gonna start and just welcome a few people. So of course I have to welcome Jedi J. So thank you so much for being in the building. We appreciate you being here. We're gonna welcome Layla. So happy that you are in the building from Canada. We have Leslie Flowers visiting us here from North Carolina. Jackie Hallberg is saying, hey, everybody visiting us here from Michigan. Now, listen, Keith Dunner, Mr. Savor the Flavor, why would you write a book and cover up our faces? I mean, come on now. I think he did this on purpose. But he says that this is going to be a great show. And I think he found all of the positive words in the dictionary to just give us a shout out. And so that is hilarious. We absolutely love that. Meryl Cass, thank you so much for being here by way of New Jersey. Kenneth is in Texas, by the way. And so you all just continue to say hello to each other. We're going to leave the comments on the right side of the screen. LinkedIn user is here. I always think that's Damien, but I'm not 110% sure because he's the only person I know that pops up as LinkedIn user. Dr. Tanya Farron is here. I'm going to be a guest on her show. That's coming up next month. And then I got to say hi to my Earth Angel, Christy D. Williams, who introduced me to such an amazing community over on LinkedIn. So if you're not on LinkedIn, follow all of these people. Check the comments. They're going to show up on screen on LinkedIn. They're going to show up on Facebook. And they actually also show up on Twitch as well. So make sure that you are actively engaging in the comments. And if you're a second or third connection with somebody on LinkedIn, connect with them and have a no pitch coffee chat. We're going to get into that some more. Hey, Stephen, how are you doing? Visiting all the way from New York. So listen, we are global here. We have people visiting us from everywhere. So you all keep those comments coming. Hey, Dr. Lisa, congratulations on your award. Make sure that you connect with her as well and see what she's Lisa out here winning. Hello, PP Torre, visiting from Mexico. We are international. And I'm just excited that everybody is here. And my personal friend, Cache, how are you doing today? Great to see you in the building, taking up some space in the world of social work. So you all continue to drop your comments. If you have any comments for Leah, make sure that you drop those as well, because we want to make sure that we actually continue this amazing conversation. So drop your comments and share this with your network so that they can meet Leah and connect with her as well. So let's keep this conversation going, Leah. So we connected because you noticed me in your comment section, and then you decided to engage. So walk us through that moment. What drew your attention?
Well, I say you got to show up to blow up. It is 2026. It is time to get in the mix. We got to come out of the shadows. We got to pull back the curtains and we got to put ourselves out there. And so, whenever I see somebody, I call it playing full out. Whenever I see someone who's in the comments and not just liking and saying that's wonderful, but putting specific comments, that always draws my attention. And so, we were in a show together and I saw these great comments, and I'm not quite the typist as you are. But I was like, I got to keep up with this woman. I got to know who she is. I got to see who's behind these typing, impeccable typing skills. But even more than that, I wanted to know who the person is, because I think it takes a lot of humility to truly show up for others and shine the light on them. And the only way you can truly be humble, in my humble opinion, is you have to be truly confident within yourself. If you're truly confident in yourself, then you're totally fine shining the light on other people. But I think that when people hesitate, it's because there's something that's incongruent within themselves. So I was so excited for our coffee chat. And, we just really, it was more of an evolution. We call it a 15-minute no pitch coffee chat. We were probably on together for an hour. And it was really
Girl,
about
don't tell our
discovery.
secret. Look.
There you go. There you go.
It was.
But it wasn't like, hey, tell me what you do. Hey, it's not like that. It's really organic. And I was like, I had so much adoration for you. I wanted to figure out how could we collaborate, right? And so we just kind of had a mastermind session. And then we talked about it. You know what? We should talk about how we connected, which is taking that
Absolutely.
extra step, going the extra mile, really taking the time to get to know who the person is behind the little bubble, get to know who the person is behind the comments. And I said, you know what? That's it. That's our talk. And I had you on my show. It was so much fun.
Yes, it was fun to be on your show. So you do a show called Wealthy Wednesday. I was
Mhm.
so honored to be a guest on your show. We had a really amazing time. And I love what you said about you got to show up to blow up. So listen, y'all better understand, not only is Leah third degree black belt in karate, she also has bars, okay? And bars means that
Oh,
she sounds like she a rap master, okay? You got to do a remix in 2026. Okay, get into it, Leah. I don't even know if she getting ready to turn 61 because she sounds so young. Your energy is so young. So I believe that you are the perfect example of age ain't nothing but a number, right? And so
oh, there
you've
you
been in
go.
these professional circles for over 20 years. Now, what's the biggest mistake that you see people make when they think they're networking, but they're really just kind of collecting contacts?
Yeah, I see most people in my space in the insurance industry are really just connecting contacts and just kind of going through the numbers. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it takes time. You really have to genuinely, in karate, we call it leaving your troubles at the door. Okay. We bow, and that's a sign of respect, which is what most people think about, but it's really leaving everything at the door. And so what I mean by that is we leave our troubles. And my first instructor told me, my first sensei said, you can always go back and pick those troubles up, but what's going to happen is you're going to see them differently. And so when I think of connecting and collaborating and actually having a conversation with somebody, I'm putting all of me aside and truly focused on that person. Who are
Mm-hmm.
they? What value do they have? What is their greatness? Where are they shiny? And I think most people make the mistake of thinking about me. See, when we're nervous, when we're apprehensive about connecting with someone, it's because we're thinking about us. But when we're truly focused and thinking on that about that person, then that all goes away because it's not about us. It's about that true connection. So I think that's the biggest mistake is people assume, hey, do you want to buy my widget? No, you don't. Do you want to buy my widget? No, you don't. You want to buy my widget? Like they're just looking for that widget buyer. And really, you don't know where that person might be able to connect you. You don't know what door they might be able to open. And you know what? Maybe they never do anything for you, but at some point, they'll tell somebody that you're a nice person, that you're a good person. You know what? I don't really know Coach Carrie, but you know what I do know? She is courteous, she's energetic, she's enthusiastic. I'm not sure what she does, but she brings good energy. And I think if that's all I say, if that's all you get out of it, that's gold right there.
That is definitely, definitely gold. And I love that you made the point about when you're meeting with someone, make it about them. And I think that's what was so important about our coffee chat. If you guys are having crash problems on LinkedIn, because it just crashed for me, make sure that you join us over on YouTube. So the YouTubes are in the comments section. I'll try and drop them in again. But I love what you said about not just collecting those contacts and making sure that you're networking with people, but keeping them really at the forefront of your mind. If you
Yes.
think about it from a service perspective, what can I do for this person as opposed to what I can get from this person? I think that that makes it so much better. And I think that's what happened during our coffee chat. We really thought about, well, we're in similar industries, but what can we talk about that is going to bless each other and bless the people that show up for your show and bless the people that show up for my show? And I really think, if nothing else, learn how to authentically engage with other people. And so I love the way that you show up for others. Now, you talked about when we were having our coffee chat, you talked about clarifying like some conflicting advice. So when you're building this authentic engagement, how do you build this professional trust for somebody to actually listen to your guidance?
I'm definitely going to answer that question, but I first want to highlight what you said. I don't want people to gloss over that. Listen, we're in similar industries. We're both power women, and I want people to know that you can be powerful, you can be strong, you can be sexy, you can be a expert in your field, and you don't have to be threatened by other people and collaborating and highlighting them. I really, and that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to collaborate with you is to be an example that we can be in similar spaces and places and we don't have to be combative. We don't have to be competition. Listen, the people who resonate with me are going to resonate with me. And the people who resonate with you, I'm happy and honored that they resonate with you because I know you're going to take care of them. So, what it means to have to clarify conflicting advice. Think about it this way. Most high achieving entrepreneurs and business owners, they have several professionals in their wheelhouse. They have a CPA that keeps them in compliance with taxes. They have an estate planning attorney who does all of those succession planning, exit planning. They have a tax attorney, and if they don't, they should have one. And they should have, of course, a licensed life and health insurance agent. And I think we have Magic Maverick coming in here.
Hey,
Magic Maverick,
Magic.
you want to say hi? Come and say hi real quick. This is the one and only Magic Maverick, and
Hi,
it's
Magic Maverick. Ah! Hi,
I'm coming in
how
live from his
adorable.
bedroom. My precious Mijo, he's going to a birthday party. So, yes, that is the one and only Magic Maverick, my precious, beautiful, one and only grandchild.
I love that. I love that. But that's part of that collaboration as well. Starting them off young, getting them ready for the stage of life. It may not be podcast, but listen, getting ready for the stage of life and knowing that you have value and that you can come just as you are and add value. So, hey, Magic Maverick, glad that you are in the building as well. And so I love that you said that. And I'm glad you didn't gloss over what we talked about. And this is my favorite statement that you made. You was like, you can be beautiful and professional. That's us. Okay, get into it. Beautiful and professional. Now, I know for your clients, you serve high achieving entrepreneurs and enterprise level clients. Now, I know for some people, those rooms can feel like they're really difficult or they're really hard to get into. So, how much of your access to those rooms came from your engagement in other people's comment sections or communities before you got the invitation?
Yeah, it's really something people talk about it, act as if. When I was just getting started, and I'm talking about I was so broke I couldn't pay attention.
Come
Okay.
on.
I couldn't
Right.
close a window. Remember, I was going through a divorce. Okay. I had to find a way to feed myself. I got into the insurance business part-time, and now I decided to make it a full-time career. I didn't know. This is back in the day when we had to drive places, right?
Right.
And so what I did was, because I wasn't a salesperson, I had a 2002 Honda Accord. Everyone made fun of her. Her name is Helga, God rest her soul. She had 427,000 miles on her. And so what I did, because I didn't feel totally confident, I went to the Goodwill and I bought a black blazer for $6 and I called it my lucky jacket. And so what I did was, that's how I sharpened myself up, is that I act as if. So when I put on that blazer, I was at professional. And you have to be able to conduct yourself, articulate yourself, know the words, and not only the words, but the concept. So you got to be a master of your craft. And as time goes on, right, people will start to see you in new places and spaces, but it will take time. And it's, again, it's not a one-time occurrence. You can't just think you're going to go and get a business card from a CPA that has 5,000 clients and they're going to refer you. No, you've got to earn their trust. You got to know how to bring them value. What information can you give them? Who can you connect them to? Again, but that comes from actually knowing your connections, knowing your resources, and up-leveling yourself, and understand that it's a step-by-step process.
Absolutely. I love that. But I want to show an example in real time of what you're talking about in terms of collaboration being the new currency, because that's this conversation. So I want people to understand the process. So Leah had a show called Wealthy Wednesday. I came to her show. I didn't know Leah, and I'm not even really sure how I was introduced to Leah, but I saw that she had a show, and I showed up in her comment section, 3 words or more, meaningful comments, engaging, because I really feel like when I come to these live shows that the person is talking to me. And I like to put the social in social media. So if I were in person and you said something to me, I wouldn't just stand there like, duh. I would respond. And so I respond by way of making the comments as if the person was talking to me. And so that attracted Leah's attention. Leah and I had a coffee chat, and then she invited me to be a guest on her show. At that time, I'm not sure if I actually had a show or was just starting my podcast because I'm new to this space. And so I know a few months later, we decided that Leah was going to be a guest on my show as well. However, the point that I want to make is that I didn't just say, "Oh, I got a guest for my show," and stop going to Leah's shows. I still go to Leah's shows when my schedule permits. And I know I can't make every single show, but I still go to Leah's shows. I still show up in the comment sections. I'm not looking to do anything but add value to my
Right.
new friend. I'm
Right.
looking to add value to my new friend. And one of the people that you had as a guest on your show is this young lady right here. And she's saying hello. I actually, after your show, connected with her because she was a level 2 connection. I sent Merlin a message and we had a coffee chat. and I learned about what she does. And I said, oh, she does the disc. I don't even know what that is. Well, I know what it is, but I don't know how she does it. Let me clarify that. And I said, you know what? I want to refer people to you, but I need to know what you do. And so a lot of times people just look at our titles, but they don't really know how we provide the service. I implore you all to make an appointment with Leah to find out how she provides her services so you can see, even if you don't need her services, now you understand what she does. You can refer people to her. Same thing with Merlin. She already sent me my email. I'm going to be completing that form this weekend so that I can learn about what she does. I might not need the service, but if I have a clear understanding of how she provides the service, then I can authentically refer people to her off of my experience and not just her title. Because a lot of people have similar titles, Leah, but they don't really do the same work. They don't have the same personality, the same energy. And I love how you talked about that energy and meeting people. And so I think that's an important piece that I don't want people to miss. And look at her at my show. Come on, Marilyn, get into the building. So I love that she is here. And we've had a few more people that you may know who have joined us. I see Felipe is here. And I love that engagement that he's talking to Kenneth, because that's what this is about. Continue to have those conversations with each other. So Felipe is joining us here. I saw somebody else. Chasen is joining us. Chasen, thank you for saying New York, because I couldn't remember if it was New York or New Jersey. And so Chasen is here as well. And we've had a few other people to join us. So pardon me for looking off to the side because I'm trying to find these names. Gregory has joined us. Gregory is here. Gregory is in Canada. I do know that. So Gregory has joined us from Canada. Hey, Sharon Rose. And so Sharon Rose is here. And so we just have such a great group of people who are joining us in the conversation. We have Margaret Martinez, who's excited about seeing Magic Maverick. And look at this. I got to put these up. We're just going to take a few minutes because people are saying hello to Magic Maverick. We have Jedi J saying hello to Magic Maverick. Felipe, Magic Maverick is in the building. And Sharon said, ooh, a surprise celebrity appearance. And Christy is saying hi to Maverick as well. And I love this comment that says you don't have to be threatened by anyone. And you're absolutely right, Merlin. She said that's a scarcity mindset. We each have our own strengths. So what would you say to that?
I love that. I adore Merlin, and she is a phenomenal person in so many ways. And I love the way that she explains DISC. I had her on my show. She brings a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think that when we come from scarcity and lack, that's when we're afraid to talk to other people who are in their same industry. And, I'm just going to go back to our connection here.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if I had met you and you were not good quality, not good person, not, all of those other things, that we wouldn't be having this discussion. But I saw who you were. I'm like, oh, I got to know this woman. We got to figure out a way to collaborate. What can we do? How does this work? And taking that time, remember, it takes more time. Maybe you have more than one coffee chat with them. And you kind of highlighted something else that I want to really sparkle on is that look in your network and see who can you bring value to. Who
Mm-hmm.
can you connect them to? Because you know what? We are one conversation from where we are to where we want to be. You may open a door for somebody that transforms their life. You may open a door for somebody now they have their own show, or maybe they're a guest speaker, or maybe they find a job. Like, we got to stop being so focused on ourselves. And I just think that we need to be more generous. And I'm speaking to myself, by the way. I'm never talking at you. I'm here with you. Okay. I need to be more aware of that. I really focus on that, but I'm sure I could do better. And when we bring more value, then it all comes back to you in some form or fashion. Maybe not from that person directly, but in some way, we say giver's gain. I know you say that too, but because we talked about that, but absolutely. And when we open more doors from each other for each other, just look at what we can do as a community. My niece tells me this all the time. She always says we're more powerful together. And I believe
Mm-hmm.
that.
Absolutely. I agree with you that we are definitely more powerful together. And so that's one of the things that I love about this conversation and this connection is that we are building community and we're building meaningful relationships. And speaking of building, I know that you created a model that was really built around coordinated teams rather than all these disconnected silos. And I know that that takes relationship capital. So, how do you build trust, Leah, with other professionals that really makes that true collaboration possible?
I hope this doesn't sound, talk all about being humble, but I'm gonna have to
Come on
come
now,
out of my
pop your
humble,
collar,
okay?
pop your
I'm,
collar.
I'm gonna have to pop my collar a little bit here. Listen, you gotta know your value. I know what I'm bringing to the table is very valuable. And so I'm looking for those other people that have that special ish. I don't know what it is. That's something extra, that cut above. Maybe they don't know everything, but they have that. And those are the people I'm willing to wait for them till they kind of percolate and find their real mo. But I'm looking for those people who can bring this specific value. I'm always looking. Now, I do have clients who are at multimillionaires, but then I also have clients who are entrepreneurs just getting started. And so I'm looking for who can I connect, what value can I bring? So it's really understanding your value. You want people that are kohais. In karate, we call it kohai. So you want people that are your level, and really you want people who are above you. Look for people who are above you. You can learn so much from that. But it comes from what? Being being confident in who you
Hmm.
are and being willing to be a student, learn, understanding that you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I study every single day and twice on Sunday because I'm always looking to become a better me in all areas, right? I call it the 7 F's: faith, family, finance, fitness, fun, philanthropic. No, it's not an F word, but it's an F word in Leah, okay? And food, because I'm a big foodie, and having good, high quality food can be costly.
Absolutely. And I love that you talked about the spectrum of the clients and how collaborating with different people on different levels makes that possible. So, whether you're just starting out, if you're a multimillionaire, we're able to provide services across the spectrum because we aren't necessarily servicing the money, we're servicing the person to help you to grow your money. And so, wherever you are in that space, that's why it's so important to connect with people
Right.
and know what it is that people do. So don't shy away if you're not a multimillionaire. Get in these DMs, right? Because we can map a plan for you. And that's one of the things that I loved about what Leah does. If you check her profile, is she helps you to go from point A to point Z by creating these unique plans that are specific to you and what it is that your goals and your dreams are. Now we had a question, but they didn't popped up so many comments. It has gone by. Hold on. Here it is.
While
Here.
you're doing that, let me just kind of toggle back onto is bringing those experts together. Most high achievers or even just beginning entrepreneurs, they have these different specialists. And what they're doing is they're getting different advice. The CPA
Mm-hmm.
is trying to keep you in compliance. The estate planning attorney is trying to help you to have succession and those kinds of things. Tax attorney is worried about you going into some type, with the IRS
Right.
and all that. You need somebody who can proactively and holistically be the orchestra, right? Create that orchestra, because if one note is out of sync, then it ruins the entire symphony. So you need somebody who's going to be the conductor so that everything is working cohesively, proactively. And your team should not just be some networking person that your professional is referring you to. They should know who they are, and they should know that they're a great collaboration for you. And when they're collaborating and all those specialists are working together, they know each other. They're having monthly or quarterly or annual meetings about you and what you do. That's when you get better results, saves you time, money, and taxes.
Absolutely. I love that. Now, Jay wants to know, was there a time where you had an emotional challenge and who was your closest role model in supporting you during that challenge?
Oh, well, I've been in this industry 20 years. Okay, so there's been a lot of emotional challenges. For me in the very beginning, this was very, very difficult. I was a stay-at-home mom for 19 years. I didn't have professional clothes. So when I said I went to the Goodwill to buy a jacket
Mm-hmm.
for $6, I had only $6. And I'm so blessed. I've had so many people, but my first real career with Health Markets, I love that company, but I worked for them for like 3 months and never closed one sale. I had the most appointments, didn't close one sale. I told you I couldn't close a window, couldn't close a door. But every week I had the most appointments. And there was this woman, her name is Della Martinez. I know her to this day. She saw that in me and she took me under her wing and she started to just help to shine me up. Another one was Dion Quiocho Reyes. And Dion was part of the cool kids. She was the ones that were sitting in the back. Like I'd look at her, like one day I'm gonna have her autograph. She's actually like 4'3". She's tiny but powerful. And one day she looked over at me. She's like, Garcia, come here. She calls me Garcia. Come here. Let me see your presentation. What do you mean? Yeah, show me your presentation. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I started going through it. She listened to it. She's like, okay, I see your problem. Hold on. Boom, 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 boom. Say this, 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 and this. And guess what? I started closing business. So I've been very, very honored that I've had so many people for whatever reason. Maybe they felt sorry for me. I don't know why, but they just took the time to pour into me and pour belief into me at times that were very emotional. I mean, going through a divorce, learning a new career, having to leave the home that I raised my kids in. Like this was all very emotional. But when you have that support, you don't know where that support can come from. And I think for me, that's one of the reasons why I do really work to be a giver, why I really do like to make those connections because somebody took the time to help me
Mm-hmm.
and never asked for anything in return. So it's my duty, right, to give back. It's a giddy. In karate, we call it the giddy. You can never pay your sensei for what they teach you. So our job as good stewards and good students is to give back. That's our giddy in life.
Absolutely. And I love that statement. To give back. Now, you mentioned more than once this $6 black blazer that you had to get. And I love that you started where you were.
Yeah.
Um, Making sure that you showed up presentable because it's not the cost of the jacket. I always tell people, the clothes don't wear you, you wear the clothes. So I
Ooh,
don't care if
that's
it was $6, $60, or $600. When Leah puts it on, it's worth 6 million. Get into it, right? And so
oh.
I love how you showed up for people. And I remember you talking about how you grew up on the east side of San Jose, being on food stamps and being on welfare, and that really early in life, you wanted more for yourself,
Mhm.
but also you wanted more for your future generation. So, how did that idea kind of shape the way that you approach relationships and the way that you approach community?
You mean the idea of growing up that way, or what do you mean?
Yes, just no, the idea of wanting more out of life in general. So, knowing that you wanted more, even though you were where you were, because sometimes people, and the reason I'm asking this question, Leah, is to help somebody else. Sometimes people are in similar spaces. I know I've been there, and they feel stuck. But I know, like you, when I was there, I was like, oh no, this is not the life that I'm destined for. I want more.
Absolutely.
So, what was it for you in terms of your mindset that allowed you to come out of that space, just knowing that you wanted more for yourself?
I don't know exactly why, but as a little girl, I always knew I was not supposed to be living in poverty. I was 6 years old and I saw this commercial, and the announcer said, if you spray Windex on your windows, your whole world will sparkle. We were poor. No, we were po. We didn't have the R, okay? And I begged my mom for Windex. She tried to give me the off brand, but I wanted Windex because I believed if I could shine up those windows on our broken down house with the roof that's leaking and all these kinds of things, that I had some hope. And where that came from? you know what? Divine. God had his hand on me as a little child because I didn't have role models. I didn't have examples. We would go to our other family that looked down on us, but they had nice houses and green grass and shiny cars. And I always asked my parents, like, why don't we have that? Now, I was a little girl. I wasn't like a teenager, a grown up. No, I was a child and I was asking my parents this. So I can only say that, for whatever reason, God put his hand on me as a young child, and I've always wanted more. And sometimes people tell me, Leah, when is it enough? Like, it's never enough. You know why? It is my fiduciary responsibility to be the one in my family to break those generational curses of poverty and scarcity and flip the script. It's not
That's
about
right.
the money. It's about everything, the intellectual property, the example that I'm giving to my beautiful, precious grandson that you just saw, right? It's because of that. We have to change the next generation. And the only way to do that is to be the example. People learn more through osmosis than they do from a lecture. And what I mean by that is watching your example,
Mhm.
watching how
Mhm.
you truly treat people, watching how you really move in this world. And if I may, I want to tell a quick story. You know,
Absolutely.
we went to the fair couple weeks ago. And I was taking my precious grandson to the derby. That's the truction derby. That's our thing, right? And so he's got his wristband and all these things and his corn dog and all that. And there happened to be another little boy who ended up showing up that we hadn't planned for. But you know what my precious grandson did? Right away, he just scooped him up. Hey, do you want a corn dog? Do you want a lemonade? Do you want to go on some rides? Like, he just was so giving and just didn't, because the little boy didn't have money. Okay, let's just say it like that. But he already knows what we're going to do. And, not because I was that little girl that would show up places and didn't have things. And it just warmed my heart because he knows our family is generous. Our family is generous. Champions are generous. And I think giving those lessons through osmosis allows him to be able to copy that. He's 7 years old, right? He's emulating that, and I'm so proud of that.
I am so proud of that as well. And I love the circle of life. Don't you just love it, Leah? How you were in that space as a little girl, as you grew through your business, someone poured into you. Now you pour into others. Come on, living legacy. And now your grandson is pouring into others as well. And that's really what it's all about, because that child that was poured into by Magic Maverick is going to pour into somebody else. And that's how you just continue to keep it going. And what they're doing now is those kind of smaller referrals, like, this is what I saw, this is my experience, and so I'm going to give and I'm going to do something for you. And I love that he's not just talking the talk, but he is walking the walk. Because you said earlier that you prefer to like, know the people, know your referral partners, rather than just exchanging cards at an event. And so exchanging cards would have been like, hey, they offer lemonade, they offer corn dogs. Next time you come, this is what you want to be prepared for. But he actually actively participated to make sure that someone else got the full experience of the event. So when you know somebody personally, what does that mean in a world where, like, a lot of our relationships do start online, but how do you move that? I see how the baby is doing it, but how are you doing that as an adult, outside of the online space or even online?
Yeah, developing those relationships online takes, for me, sometimes takes more time, but then I would even say it doesn't even have to take more time. Sometimes you meet somebody through a coffee chat and you just feel them. Like, I just
Mm-hmm.
felt you through that. We've never met in person, but I felt like I knew who you were, the way you're showing up, your authenticity. And people give a lot of lip service to the word authenticity. But see, this is how
Indeed.
I know if people really are authentic. This is one of my litmus tests, okay? I'm going to drop a secret here. People who are constantly saying, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I don't have time, I'm too busy, I really feel that they're out of congruency. Because listen, I get up early, I stay up late. You're going to see, I have a 4 o'clock meeting that I do. for Motivation Monday. I get up at 2 o'clock on Sunday night, Monday morning to be live on camera, fully dressed up at 4 a.m. My last appointment is at 7:30 every single week. You think those 7:30 people think that I looked hot? No, I show up exactly the way you see me now is the same way that I show up then. So when people are out of alignment, when they're not working in their authentic self, whatever that means, they're going to be burned out. And this is my humble opinion. I could be wrong. Our queen is here. Maybe she can correct me. But that's when, Queen Leslie, when we're out of alignment, I think this is when we get burnt out, tired, exhausted. What would you say about that, Coach Carrie?
I would definitely agree with you. And I think that alignment is extremely important, and that when you show up, whether it's online or whether it's in person, the way that you show up is going to resonate with people. I know we met on LinkedIn, right? We're across all these platforms, but we started on LinkedIn, like that's where we connected. And so, what are you doing on that platform that you feel like most people are not doing? And why do you think that that's working?
What I do on LinkedIn that I'm not doing on any other platforms is I'm just playing full out. Now, the reason I started on LinkedIn was because nobody I knew was on LinkedIn, and I figured I could be on there and not have to worry about the judgment or the haters, right? So to me, that's how I started on there. And what happened, Coach Carrie, is I started meeting people like our Queen Leslie Flowers and Felipe Cofino and Dr. Tanya and all these incredible people, Margaret Martinez and all these amazing people. I was like, oh my gosh, people don't know the gold, the treasures, the conversations. And you know what? I started forgetting all about a financial service professional and dynasty builder. And I was just having, I say just, I'm trying to really work on saying, I was having conversations, real conversations with people who had real life experience to impart on me. And you know what? When you're having fun, that's when the true collaborations happen. And so through osmosis, that's when, you know, people started reaching out to me financially, but I was there just there having fun, collaborating and learning really from all these incredible trendsetters and advanced thinkers, right? I was learning from them and I'm still learning from them.
Absolutely. And I love that you talked about you're just there having fun. That's so important. You're there to learn. And that's also important as well. And then that natural reciprocity starts to occur because people can see who you are authentically. Most of the events that I go to on LinkedIn, most of the comment sections that you see me in, a lot of those people are not my clients, but all of those people have value. We all have value. And most people know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that could potentially become a client or a referral source. And so I think having fun is extremely important. Cachet says having fun is very, very important. Felipe had to jump over to LinkedIn as well because it's crashing. But he says those relationships are so valuable. We learn, support, and collaborate with each other, and it is priceless. Jay says that you have the advocacy in you. Come on, Jay. And that you believe in advocacy networks as well. And then finally, Sharon says quality over quantity always, including sleep. Okay. And so I love that part as well. You got to make sure that you have enough rest, but balance is important. So, third degree black belt, Shotokan Karate. What does martial arts teach you? And you've kind of sprinkled that throughout this conversation, but I kind of want to hone in on what does martial arts teach you, and really anybody about showing up for others. You know that business coaches don't really talk about some of these things, but what did you learn in karate that's unique to the way that you show up in business?
Well, I always love the quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he says, you don't have to see the whole staircase, you just have to see the next step. And really,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I think so many times if we're looking at the end result, we can get overwhelmed. We could feel like we don't qualify, we're not enough. And so it's just taking the first step and taking that next step after that. So I think a couple of lessons that people maybe overlook that I've learned from martial arts is number one, even though martial arts is an individual sport, it's about the team. And this is what I mean. When you're there training with 10 other people, 50 other people, we have classes where there's over 100 other black belts. And if one person is off, it impacts the entire class.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to know that we all contribute. We're all contributing to this community. All the comments here, this would not be the same conversation if it was just you and I. But when the conversation and people adding their thoughts, yes, it's me individually here and you individually there, Coach Carrie, on this event, but it's everybody else that's adding to it. So I think that's number one. Number two,
Mm-hmm.
and I alluded to this earlier, which is, leave yourself at the door. When you show up for a coffee chat or you go to a networking thing, listen, stop trying to sell people your widget. How about instead of being interesting, you be interested? How about if you start having a real conversation and asking people really about themselves and maybe not even about their business, something that you see about them. Don't compliment people on what you see them wearing. Compliment what you see about them. Man, I saw how you interacted with the waitress, or I really appreciated how you were so courteous to the people, greeting people coming in, having genuine, authentic conversations. So that's number two. Forget about yourself, put yourself at the door. And number three, and it really is something we've been talking about this whole time, is that just because you're humble, just because you're not making it seem like you're the one and only, I call it being the est, right? We're not all the est. Um, doesn't mean that you can't show up in your power. Listen, I make no mistake. I am confident. I go out there on the dojo. I leave it all on the mat, right? But I'm not the best karateka, right? I'm not. But it doesn't stop me from playing full out. You're going to get all the juice out of the orange for me. I'm going to give it everything I've got. And I think that we get so worried about what people think about us that we stop being who we are. And when you start being who you really are, that's where the gold is. We got to stop comparing ourselves to other people. If I compare myself to, listen, there's like 20-year-olds that are black belts. They're spinning and all these. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Okay. But however, I'm still showing up as me. I hope that helps.
That does. I'm sitting here. I'm engrossed in the story. Like, girl, keep going. That's so good. And I love how you talked about the team because you kind of alluded to that earlier about even in your financial space, how you have a team of people. So I know that you're a life insurance professional. Talk a little bit about that strategy of having a team of people around you that you can actually refer your clients to because it sounds like in martial arts it's the same way and we know that we're only as strong as our weakest links. So I love that you can have a team without weak links. And so I love that you have this team of professionals that provide the support that you give to your clients.
Yeah, I'm a licensed life and health insurance agent and other certifications beyond that. I learned this from Della Martinez years ago. She was a phenomenal networker and she
Mm-hmm.
just showed me how to show up at networking. She's the one that said, you know what? We got to go out there and be of service. We would bring cookies, we would bring pins, we'd bring little treats. Like we got to go out there and just start talking to people and getting to know them and not trying to sell them. I was selling health insurance back in the day. I'm trying to sell them health insurance. So that for me is where it started. And as I evolved, I actually started to really specialize in helping small business owners with their health insurance. And through osmosis, they started to ask me, Leah, do you do retirement? Leah, can you help me with my taxes? Leah, do you know anything about succession planning? And so it required me to sharpen my sword, right? It required me to put myself through the fire and really finding people. And so what I started doing, and I'm not sure how I got this, but I started interviewing people to be referrals resources. I would
Mm-hmm.
call up CPAs. Listen, I've got a client like ABC XYZ. I'm looking for the right CPA for them. And I really would do an interview with 4 or 5 high level CPAs, and then I'd find that right person. Okay, here's a person and make that connection.
That's really, really, really smart way to do business because that's one of the things that we talked about is different people are licensed in different things And so you can connect. And there are organizations that do that professionally where you can pay a fee. But there's also space in our own world where you know somebody that provides the service. And that goes back to what I talked about earlier. Find out what people do. Because if you are not interviewing people, and our way of kind of interviewing is the no pitch coffee chats just for our networking. But that's a great way to find out what people do to see if you can add people to your referral sources for your clients. I know I have friends who are in the HR space. I have friends who are in the financial space. I have friends who are in the book space where they help authors. And so you have all of these different people who provide a plethora of services. And the more people you know, the more you can say, hey, I don't do that, but I know a great person that does do that. And so
Yeah.
I absolutely love how you interview people and make sure that your clients, that's that full service professional that I know that you are, is making sure that people have the resources available to get all of their needs met. And you said that, engagement, showing up for others, it kind of opens up these unexpected doors, kind of what we're talking about now. But what I want to know, what is the most unexpected door that opened for you because you chose to show up for somebody else first?
Actually, it happened to me yesterday.
Oh, come on,
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I have different classes that I do, and some of them I do classes about living trusts. And so there's a gentleman that went to one of my classes probably 3 years ago. And he and I connect from time to time. He has a lot of questions. About a couple of times a year, he'll call me, hey, Leah, I was wondering about this. And listen, I don't believe in keeping information to myself. I am free with my information. This is what you do. This is how this works. Okay, I got it down. And yesterday he called me. He said, "You know what? One of my friends is a very well established entrepreneur and he needs somebody. He's got a bucket of money that he's looking for." And we had that connection call yesterday. But see, I didn't help this gentleman expecting he would someday I didn't know if he will have money. And maybe he'll never, I don't know. But he's asking questions and I believe, listen, if you, all you can do is hold on to that one question because that's the only thing that you can charge your clients for, then you need to get deeper. Okay, I can give away all this free information because I know at some point they're going to need a professional to help me. And by the way, I give a lot of free information. However, for my advanced clients, my advanced tax planning clients, I do charge for that. Okay, it's a family office, but in the beginning, maybe some people aren't ready for that. Maybe they need that first introduction to a CPA. Maybe they need that first introduction to what it can look like when their business gets to that level. And so if we're not willing to help people, this is how I feel. Okay, this is a real conversation. You can come here with
I know
rainbows
it
and
is.
butterflies. Well, listen, if I'm not willing to help people when they don't have anything, how could I ever ask for the opportunity to be of service when they do? And I say, that's how I feel. I'm going to be there before they have the plethora, before they have the dynasty, and support them, encourage them, because I don't know, at some point they may. I've had a client who inherited money. I'm going to tell you this. I had a client that I helped him with a little accident policy. This was like early in my career. About a year later, he called me. He inherited almost $1 million. And all I did, that accident policy probably cost $12.99. And to be transparent, I didn't remember him. But he called me up, hey, Leah, this is Dennis. I'm like, hey, Dennis, obviously he knows who I am. I must know who he is. I got to talk to you. And he comes into my office. This is when I was in health insurance, working downtown San Jose. And we have the offices, but they had glass there so that, people could see into the office. He comes in. Now, remember, I don't remember who this guy was. We set an appointment. He came into my office. I'm in there waiting for him. And I told my girlfriend, listen, I don't know who this guy is. So keep eyes on me, right?
Right.
He comes in, he sits down. I'm like, I don't know this guy. Like, I'm looking at her like, you got me, right? I don't know who this guy is. And then he told me he inherited this $1 million. He said, you know what? And listen, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I want to give an example. He said, you know what? You treated me with so much respect when I didn't have anything and I wanted this policy that was only a few dollars. I wanted to come back to you because I felt like you're the person who would take care of me honestly and help me because I don't know what to do. And so if we're not willing to help people at the the beginning, how can we ask for their business when they are successful?
Absolutely. I agree with you 110%. And similarly, we do that free financial education piece in the beginning because I think my background as a teacher makes me believe that everybody deserves this free education. And so I love that you are providing those services to people. And I love how Cachet phrased it: if you don't want me at my worst, don't come around me at my best. And so I love that. And then we have one more question before we start to wrap it up. Jay says, how can you tell if individuals really need that service or benefit? Because there are so many individuals who take advantage of services or businesses, or I'm sorry, benefits in an unfair way.
You know what, Jay? I love that question. I don't ever attach myself to the outcome. I
Mm-hmm.
provide the service, I provide the information, and some people do use it in a way against me. Like they'll take it, go to their advisor, have their advisor help them, and they never give me a credit for it. They never use my
Mm-hmm.
services. You know, it is what it is. There are going to be those. There's some of those in every crowd. But I don't attach myself to that. I attach the ones like the conversation that I had yesterday out totally out of the blue. I mean, completely was not expecting it. And this gentleman is multi-millionaire. Okay. So I wouldn't have that opportunity if I was attaching myself to the outcome. I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I was like, gosh, you know what? I've had 5 coffee chats with you already. I told you 20 different things. I've given you all these resources. Now it's your time to pay me back. Like, I don't think I would have that conversation. So I think if we can just really, again, leave ourselves at the door and really understand that there are going to be people who will, unfortunately, take the information and go to their advisor. And you know what? I just say what's done in the dark is going to come out in the light. We know that. It happens
Absolutely.
all the time. So at some point, I'm going to be blessed because my heart is has a good intention, and in some way it's going to come back to me.
Absolutely. I love having this conversation with you. I can't believe that we are near the point of wrapping up because we are already just over the hour. And so I want to ask you, what do you want every entrepreneur and professional in our audience to do differently in their own online communities? What's one thing that they can actually start with this week?
Yeah, I say it's 2026. It's time to get in the mix. If you're here on this and you haven't left a comment, if you haven't shared it with somebody, if you haven't given someone a shout out, if you haven't had a coffee chat, it is your time to do that. It is your time. Listen, closed mouths don't get fed, right? So many people are worried about gas prices. Listen, I'm in California. It is $6 for a gallon of gas. Listen, don't, why are we worried about that? Let's work on bringing more value, making more money. If you made an extra $10,000 this year, would that make gas prices eclipse those gas prices? If you figured out how to put an extra $500 or $1,000 in your pocket, then gas prices, it doesn't matter, right? It's not that things are too expensive, is that we don't make enough money. And so what I want people to understand is how do you bring that value is getting in the comments, talking to people, being genuine, authentic, put yourself at the door and really have a true connection. And I love, you know what I love is that I never thought the most controversial thing that I would say, because I believe I say a lot of controversial things. I say, forget about your 401k, get a solo. Like I'd say a lot of controversial things, but I didn't think no pitch coffee chats would be one of them. And I think it's because people have this scarcity mindset. Let's have the, let's get rid of that and be prosperous, and we can be generous. And guess what, as we give it will be given to us. So get in there, shout out Coach Carrie, share this with somebody, get in the comments and write a genuine comment. Tell her how wonderful she is. Thank her for doing this show. She shows up on a Saturday for all of you to bring value. Give her flowers because she's really being here, being authentic, and that's what it's about. So that's what I have to say about that, Coach Carrie.
I love that. That's such a great way to end the show. get into the comments section and make sure that you connect with Leah Garcia. She's on LinkedIn at Leah Garcia CEO. We want to make sure that you all connect with each other, because that's really what this show, Carrie Connects, is about. It's about helping you to build community, to talk to people that you may otherwise not have had an opportunity to get to know. And so I am so grateful to Leah Garcia for being a guest on Carrie Connects, and super excited for you all to connect with her. Go to her show on Wealthy Wednesdays. Tell us what you have coming up and where else people can find you.
Oh, yes. I have Catherine Chadwick on this week's Wealthy Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. I've been doing something. I'm going to share it on her show. But she dropped a golden bar with Queen Leslie Flowers, and I've been doing it. And I'm telling you, it has been so transformational. I'm not going to share it here. You got to show up on Wednesday. And yeah, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. I am on X. I am on Facebook. I'm everywhere. Okay. Find me. And on YouTube, I'm the Dynasty Builder 93940.
All right. So make sure you connect with her. I also wrote an amazing article about Leah. I will make sure that that is in the comments as well. I will drop all of her handles in the comment section for this show on LinkedIn. So make sure that you all connect with her. Next week, Carrie Connects will be on Sunday, because I'm doing a special blue and white edition. And so it'll be on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll drop that information as well. And if you all are looking for any of the services and you're not sure what people do, I implore you to get on a coffee chat with them, but take the next step and book an appointment with them to find out what services they provide. They may be able to bless you. They may be able to help you to get to the next step financially, like Leah just talked about. So connect, and we will see you all for the next Carrie Connects, and definitely all this week on somebody's show in the comment section. Thank you all so much for being here, and that's all we have for now. Bye.
Hey, welcome in. Let the good vibes all begin. Something good is about to happen. Sure. I've been waiting on you. Got a seat with your name. Started with a coffee chat. Now we about to change the game. You got a story worth telling, and I got a room full of ears. So drop whatever you've been holding, get ready because your time is here. Because when real people talk to real people, something shifts. When real stories meet real listeners, something lifts. Every Saturday we show up and we bring our best. Show up to Carrie Connects and leave it best. Show up, show up. Something is happening here. Carrie Connects, Carrie Connects. This is your moment, come near. Entrepreneurs, voices, friends, where inspiration never ends. You did not come this far just to sit in the back. Everything you walk through, we're getting you ready for that. So step into the light. Let somebody see your face, because the right conversation can change everything in this place. When real people talk to real people, something shifts. And real stories meet real listeners, something lifts. Every Saturday we show up and we bring our best. Show up to Carrie Connects and leave it bright. Show up. Something is happening here. Carrie Connects, Carrie Connects. This is your moment, come near, where every story intersects and every heart connects. So the coffee chat to the main stage, just bring who you are. Carrie Connects, Carrie Connects. coffee just to see if it was real.